Hello and welcome to Fly to the Moon. Today we are not flying to the moon, but we are flying to Iceland, the original land of ice and fire. Here, volcanoes and lava flows exist side by side with ancient glaciers in whatever the exact opposite of harmony is. Iceland is spectacular and unique. It has rock and ice formations the like of which are seen nowhere else in the world. It has black sand beaches, ancient glaciers and crystal-like ice caves. But it's not all ice and fire. The Seljalandsfoss waterfall is beautiful and green. You can even walk behind it. And you may be thinking to yourself, I'm not going there for a beach vacation. Take a look at this. The Blue Lagoon, a geothermal spa with ice blue waters you can soak and swim in for hours. Iceland is located on the mid-Atlantic ridge, making it an escape point for all the fire and fury beneath the Earth's surface, volcanoes, geysers, and geothermal springs. The capital city is Reykjavik, which is the northernmost capital city in the world. It has a population of 140,000, a large proportion of the country's 390,000. It's not the smallest country in the world, but far from the largest. It was settled in the 9th century by Vikings, and a lot of the characteristics of the island are based on this fact, including the food, which we will get to later. Another fantastic experience you can have in Iceland is seeing the northern lights, the Aurora Borealis. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, I can see that anywhere at a northern latitude. This is true, but Iceland benefits from the Gulf Stream, making it warmer than virtually any other place where you can see the northern lights, and therefore considerably more comfortable. One of the best ways to see Iceland is with a self-guided tour. You can either cycle or you can drive. Hiring a car will cost you $50 to $100 a day. Hiring a bicycle will cost you about a third of that. However, you should keep in mind that the country is called Iceland, so it's not like driving around Florida. Now, to the food. Fish, unsurprisingly, forms a huge part of the Icelandic diet, alongside courage. Perhaps the most famous dish is hakal, fermented shark. And I did say most famous, not most popular. The shark is traditionally fermented in sand for 2 to 3 months, then hung up to dry for another 4 to 5 months. It was described by the chef Anthony Bourdain as the single worst, most disgusting and terrible tasting thing he had ever eaten. The comedian Richard Ayoade described it as technically edible. Thankfully, Icelandic chefs have since discovered herbs and spices and have mastered the art of cooking fish in a way that makes you absolutely want to eat it. But let's face it, as entertaining as the idea of Icelandic food actually is, you're not going there for the food. It's not that kind of destination. You're going there for the scenery. You're going there because nature is incredible. Now, as it's the northernmost capital city in the world and a little isolated, the cost of living in Reykjavik is relatively high. This also means that the cost of hotels there is quite high, over 100 euros a night for 2 people. If you're staying outside Reykjavik, however, it can be considerably cheaper. Not so many hotels, but a lot of bed and breakfasts and guest houses. Flights, however, at least from North America and Europe, are actually very cheap. From New York, you can get a direct round-trip flight from as little as $350. From London, £260. If you're eating out, it's going to cost you about twice what you might expect in North America or mainland Europe. But with the ubiquity of self-catering accommodation, it is much easier to cater for yourself and save money that way. The currency in Iceland is the Icelandic krona. It's not part of the Eurozone, so you'll have to change your money before you go, but thankfully, most people in Iceland speak good English. It's a highly educated country and one that receives a lot of visitors. So how much does all this cost together? Well, obviously it depends on what you decide to do while you're in Iceland. But assuming you spend 2 weeks in a guest house outside of Reykjavik and you decide to spend a week or so driving around or cycling, the total cost would be around $1,700 per person, not including food. So you can afford to fly to the land of ice and fire, where winter is always coming. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Fly to the Moon, when we won't be flying to the moon, but we will be flying to Tanzania.